Greetings, cyber dogs and citizens of the Interpub. This is Mad Professor ReNDoG coming at you from bacon-fueled power plant of Cyber Labs in another episode of Modded Minecraft from HermitPack server. I freaking did it, man. I maintained the accent all the way through the intro. Oh, baby, somebody give me a cookie. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Modded Minecraft. I'm sorry. For some reason, I just wanted to start today's episode in the accent of some sort of maniacal Russian professor of a laboratory somewhere. I hope I didn't offend anyone doing that accent. I don't know. I thought it was pretty hilarious. Anyway, guys, check it out, man. Ain't this place a doozy? Get wrecked, little pig, and send your meat into my culinary generators. I'm here, guys, monitoring our bacon power array. I want to make sure that we are basically generating power at all times, and I've spent at least 5 hours or so trying to tweak this whole thing to get to that point. We're not quite there yet, as you can see. Just a couple of culinary generators running over here. But guys, we got so much to do today, man. I've got so much to show you. And today we are going to be working on a furnace room here in our laboratory. We are generating some power, and now we need to make use of that power, and we are going to find some really cool ways to do that today. But before I do that, I want to show you some detail work that I've done around the place, because I'm sure you guys have noticed this place has changed a little bit, hasn't it? Firstly, have a look at the skirting and stuff that I did over here, and the changes that I made to the actual pig killing mechanism, the slaughter chamber, if you will. Iskal came in here and installed a brand new conveyor belt for me. Isn't that conveyor belt absolutely gorgeous? Check it out. The latest update brought us this new conveyor belt from Immersive Engineering. Super easy to make with some leather, some iron, and some redstone, and it just looks so epic. You can also make it slant like that, so now the little pigs are going directly into the spike. So they get born, and then the spike goes up their butt within a few seconds, and that is generating bacon for us, and that bacon is of course being turned into RF by the culinary generators, and I've turned these culinary generators into Tesla coils, basically. I'm very much enjoying the design of our cyber labs being like a laboratory from the 1920s or something, right? The laboratory of the Great Gatsby, so to speak, and I think I want to carry on with that theme, because I think it's absolutely gorgeous. Check it out, man. These pylons of electricity. I just imagine electricity flowing in between these things, you know, like in the Matrix, man, like as bacon is turned into electricity. Yeah, anyway, I think it's looking fantastic, isn't it? I absolutely love it. Now, in the previous episode, we were also talking about doing something in here, and take a look at what I've done over here, guys. I've continued the theme of the Tesla coil thing into our power plant, and I've made a whole bunch more of these basic capacitor banks. And I've installed these little like Tesla coil thingies also in between them. Doesn't that look snazzy? Oh, I absolutely love it, man. It is so sweet. Today, we're also going to be working out a way to monitor the energy that is being stored here. This is going to be our battery room, and we're going to be setting up a screen over here. We'll be able to monitor all of the power coming in and out of the cyber lab. So that's super exciting. A couple of more things that I want to show you, though, before we get cracking. In here, oh, it's just an absolute mess. Please ignore the place, guys. I have made an absolute disaster of this room right now. I am trying to figure out exactly what I want this room to be. I think I want this room to be the machine room. Okay, so this is where we're going to have things like solderers. I've set up a little bit of a solderer array over here, right? So we've got 6 solderers over here, and this is where I'll put like that resonator machine and all that sort of stuff. And over here, I've been working on just a little bit of a sag mill and alloy smelter and furnace setup. Looking super janky. Today, we're going to be setting up a proper room for alloy smelting, furnacing, and sag milling, though. So that is going to be absolutely epic. And I have been working on this side of the Cyber Labs, too. Looking absolutely glorious, isn't it? This is where we're going to be setting up a beautiful furnace facility and smelting facility in this area over here today. It's going to be absolutely jazzy, my friends. Oh, baby, do you guys have a tasty beverage? Give me 1 second. Man, I need a sip of my tea. There we go. Just need to calm down a little bit, you know, because I don't know, man. I'm just in the zone today. I've been on the server now for about 3 hours or so. There's been a little bit of lag going on, but it seems to have cleared up now, and there is a giant magma cube infestation, as always. Whenever I come out of the cyber labs, man, there are freaking magma cubes all up in my jazz. Wow. Slow motion Matrix time over there, man. What the jazz? Jeez. All right. Well, there's definitely a little bit of lag going on over here, which is not cool. But I've I've come upstairs here, guys, because I want to show you a little bit of an adjustment I've made to our bacon power array. And as you guys can see, I've set up, well, a little killing chamber where there used to be a church. There used to be a church over here. It is now a place where we are turning pigs into bacon and bacon into power. Magma cubes, do you mind? Oh, get your faces out of here, please, you freaking little bastards. All right, let's get rid of these magma cubes and then I can progress to telling you guys about this freaking bacon facility, man. Magma cube infestation has been cleared and I am taking out my anger on these innocent pigs. I cannot tell you guys how many freaking times these magma cubes have interrupted my recording. Get wrecked. Oh man, ReNDoG, calm down, dude. Take a sip of your beverage. Hold on, guys. Tea. There we go. That's calmed the ReNDoG down a little bit. Sorry, guys. Sorry, bacons. My bad. I'm sorry if I murdered your mamas. Yeah. Now I feel really bad. Anyway, guys, let's continue with the video, shall we? Check it out. Where once there was a church, there is now a pig murdering facility from hell. Oh man, I set up this facility on the top of the cyber labs over here to try and make our piglet spawning a little bit more efficient. In the previous build, I just wasn't generating enough bacon for the culinary generators. So I've come upstairs here and I've installed this snazzy little facility. I think it looks kind of cool, right? We've got 2 chambers over here that are spawning pigs, basically a bunch of pigs standing on top of a chiseled block of 2 pixels, being fed by a feeder that is receiving carrots from the carrot generator in the power plant downstairs. And these pigs are pooping out a piglet, I would say, every 20 or 30 seconds or so. So it's pretty good. There we go. There goes one. Piglet's gone to be turned into power. When these guys poop out a piglet, it gets transported to the drop zone via this conveyor belt. There it goes. Look at that little cutie. Hi. Bye. He's about to get wrecked, man. He's going to drop down there into that conveyor belt, and that is the final killing chamber, or the final destination for any pigs that get born in this facility. Pretty cruel. Vegans, look away now, man. That is some cool ass jazz right there. Anyway, guys, I am desperately trying to reach RF equilibrium for our base. And what do I mean by that? Well, I want to be generating power for our base at all times. And more than that, I want to be generating more power than I'm using. And as soon as we get to that point, we will have RF equilibrium. I know that there are ways to generate free power in HermitPack. I know that Scalda is using wind turbines and stuff like that to generate free power. I'm not a big fan of free power in Modded. I like earning my power. You know what I'm saying? I like putting resources into power. That's just the way that I play Modded anyway. So that's why I'm working so hard on this weird bacon power generator. Anyway, I made another really cool change over here. I added a half slab of glass just above the diamond spike block. And now I can come and collect the XP that is being dropped by this piglet killer. So that's pretty cool. I think I want to find a better way to maybe store that XP if that's possible. I think you get something called, let's have a look here actually. I think there's something called an XP solidifier, an experience for solidifier, and that could actually collect that XP for us. That might be something to look into actually, and that sounds kind of interesting. Anyway, I'm trying to achieve RF equilibrium, and I want all of these culinary generators to be running at all times, and as you guys can see, that's not quite happening at the moment. Obviously, the number of pigs that are being bred isn't consistent, and sometimes lots get bred, sometimes a few get bred, and sometimes these culinary generators are off, but I would like to very much monitor the power that is coming in and out of our facility, and the best way to do that, right now I'm just sort of clicking over here and looking at how much power is being generated. The best way to do that, I think, is to create some sort of a display where we will be able to monitor the RF of our entire power grid here in the Cyber Labs. I mean, these are looking kind of cool, you know, these basic capacitor banks. They show us how much energy is actually in them. You can actually right click on them with an open hand to change what they look like too, which I think is pretty cool. That one was only getting 1 RF. That's kind of embarrassing. In 5, out 0. I guess that's kind of cool looking, but I don't know. I just really like this old school, like 1920s look of these power capacitors. I kind of want to keep it like that. I think that looks pretty cool. So yeah, I'm going to try work out a way to get all of our power usage displayed in this area over here. Should be pretty freaking awesome, man. Cyber dogs, I have a confession to make. My name is ReNDoG, and I am addicted to displaying statistics in modded Minecraft. I know what you guys are saying, and I know exactly what Scalda is saying right now. Nerd. And that's totally true, guys. I really do love being able to show off statistics in Minecraft. And what I really want to achieve here for the Cyberlabs is a display area where we can see all of the RF coming in and all of the RF going out of our beautiful laboratory. So all of the power being generated by our culinary generators and then all of the power being consumed by our various machines. Sounds pretty cool, right? Oh, you know it, guys. You know it. Now, how are we going to achieve this task, I hear you asking? Well, we're going to get technical now with some really cool machines. I've done my research and I know exactly what I'm doing, I think. I've also done a bit of testing with these two and I think I've got it working. So have a look at this, guys. First thing we're going to be using is a power monitor. This is from Ender.io and it's actually pretty simple to make. If we have a look at the recipe, all we need is some electrical steel, which is easily made with some iron, some coal dust, and some silicone in a smelter. You also need a machine chassis and an energy conduit. Pretty simple to make, but you also need this thing called a conduit probe. To make that, you need some more of that electrical steel, some glass panes, a comparator, and an insulated redstone conduit, which is made the same as other energy conduits, but instead of the normal thing you use here, you're going to use redstone alloy, which is just redstone and silicone in a smelter. Pretty simple, right? Now check what this bad boy can do. It's actually really awesome. You're going to connect it to your main energy conduit grid. This conduit is obviously connected to the entire energy grid of the cyber laboratory. So let's get that plonked on over there. Boom. Looks kind of cool. We can't really see anything though, right? So that's a little bit depressing, but let's have a look on the inside. This gives us all of the information that we need. We currently have no storage in our conduits. We have 9 million RF out of a total of 41 million, which is fantastic. We are using 37 RF per tick and we are producing 128 RF per tick. That means every single one of our culinary generators is currently kicking into full gear. So that's fantastic. Also, we've got some machine buffers and stuff over here, which I guess are the machines connected to the network being used or something. I don't know, but that's pretty cool, right? I like that, man. I think that's kind of jazzy, actually. Now, the next machine that we're going to be using is something called a graphical power monitor. And this thing is a little bit more on the display side of things, kind of sweet. All we need to make this is a power monitor that I already showed you how to make with some black wool around it and some dye underneath for some reason. But yeah, power monitor. Let's plonk that one onto our energy grid too. And boom, we can see that there's some weird stuff going on here. That's because I've been doing some testing in the Cyber Labs, connecting some machines to the energy grid to see what will happen. But essentially what this thing does is over time, it shows you how your RF goes up and down, right? So that's kind of awesome. These are all the points where I think I've logged on and off or something like that. I don't know what this means, but over time we will see a graph starting to form of our RF usage, which I think is pretty damn jazzy, man. But you know what? That's not enough for me. I want more. I want to see more sweet statistics being shown over here. And actually, I'm going to have to break this to show you guys the next bit. We're going to be using these awesome things called screens for this. Now, to control a screen, you need a screen controller. The screen controller is kind of like your, I don't know, your cable network box that delivers information to your TV, right? And to make a screen is very easy. Just glass, iron, and a machine base, which is just gold nuggets and, well, diorite, which is, yeah, kind of gross. But anyway, we're going to be installing our screen controller into a power input. So we'll connect that to our power grid over there. And this screen controller you can see over here has something called scan. Now, that's exactly what we are going to be doing over here to find these screens, right? Let's get these screens placed here above these two things. That's pretty sweet, right? Now we can start displaying stuff to these particular screens over here. But first, we need to get them controlled by the screen controller. Let's hit the scan button. There's two devices connected. We can also change like the way they look or something. I don't know. I think that's just changing the buttons there. Yeah, that's not too exciting. Anyway, let's plonk our graphical power monitor back in here. Now, the interesting bit comes in. How do we display information on these screens? Well, you got to use something called an energy module. And an energy module is actually also pretty simple to make. Redstone, iron, and ink sackage. So that's super, super cheap. I've got one over here. And check this out, right? If we hold shift and we right click on this energy bank like that, we are then looking at the information of that energy bank. Check this out, right? So I've named that particular monitor oops, I've named that particular energy module Bat 5 over here, right? I think I've got a whole bunch of them in here because I was doing some testing. But Bat 1, Bat 2, and if we stick all of these in here, they're going to be sort of out of order because I've been doing some testing over here. Also, some of these are going to be the culinary generators, so let's get those out of there. Yeah, that's looking pretty good. So there, we can see the statistics of all of our capacitor banks here in the battery room, right? That's pretty cool, I think. The last thing, of course, that we can do also is represent the power that is being generated by our culinary generators. And that's what I want to do on this screen over here, right? So we're going to be doing exactly the same thing, holding shift, right-clicking on the culinary generators, and then we're going to be plonking those into this screen over here. And there we can see generator A, B, C, and D. And I don't know why it's not showing the actual energy coming in. It's kind of annoying. A, B, C, D. Yeah, there we go. That's looking beautiful. I don't know why it's actually not showing the numbers. Maybe it needs a bit of time to kick in at some point. And I guess I need to rearrange these things also so that they are 1 to 10 or whatever it is. But that is our display. I think it's kind of sweet. I'm going to try tweak these to get them looking a little bit better. And hopefully I can find a way to get these culinary generators to display correctly on the screen. But that's starting to look pretty sweet, man. If you could see my face right now, Cyberdogs, you would see the face of disappointment. I have not been able to make these screens work the way that I want them to, man. And I don't know what's going on here. These monitors or these energy modules over here are just not displaying the power generation of the culinary generators, and I have no idea why. I have shoved a whole bunch of food into these generators. They are definitely producing 32 RF per tick, but for some reason, this screen does not want to show it correctly, and it is driving me crazy, man. Do any of you guys out there know why this is happening? I don't know, man. I don't know. It's really disappointing me, though. I mean, this is kind of cool. It's showing the percentage of all of the batteries in our battery room. I guess it's kind of cool. I would like it to look a little bit more interesting with a little bit more information, I suppose, but I've already spent about an hour or so in here trying to make this look good, and I need to move on or I'm going to be in here all freaking day. Anyway, at least we can see the percentage of all of our batteries, which I think is kind of cool. And we have a sort of ongoing graph here of power generation. And still, at the end of the day, it's the power grid that is showing us, or the power monitor that is showing us the best information. About 90 or so RF being used and about 128 RF being generated. Dang it. I just want to show that nice and clear on a screen somewhere, you know? Anyway, we'll sort that out at some point in the series. Don't you guys freaking worry. We've got more important stuff to deal with right now, though, guys. And before we do that, though, look at this. I wanted to show you a little bit of detail. Look at the little doorway that I created here. Isn't this gorgeous? From the blue into the orange, the power section of the labs into the workshop section. Look at this, man. Oh, chisel and bits. Best mod ever made. Absolutely love it, man. Anyway, before I start chiseling and bitsing again, I get so addicted to it, guys. I can't help myself. Let's move right on and very swiftly on to the next task for today's episode, and that is setting up some sort of a furnace, smelting, and processing room, right? We have got a ridiculous amount of ore that is building up in our storage facility right now. Iron and copper and osmium and a whole bunch of other different types of ore. And when we start setting up a quarry, which is going to be an automatic way to harvest materials out of the ground, we need to make this laboratory automatically process all of those materials coming out the ground. So we need some sort of an ore processing room, and I reckon this little spot right here is perfect for it. I'm going to mess around, see what we can come up with. We've got 3 major machines to work with, right? We've got the alloy smelter, which we use a lot to produce different materials out of smeltage. We have the sag mill, which we use to double up those ores. So ores go in here and become dust, and then that dust becomes smelted. And of course, we use furnace to do the heavy lifting of the smeltage. Now, these are the 3 machines that I'd like to sort of get into this room. And the way that I see it is that the sag mill, I guess, is the beginning of this chain of events, right? The sag mill is where everything starts. So maybe what we need to do is set up a sort of array of sag mills over here, and then using item filters in the item conduits, we'll be able to direct the stuff coming out of the sag mill into either the alloy smelters if we need it, or into the furnace over here, right? I think that most of the stuff coming out of the sag mills is probably going to go directly into the furnaces. So maybe what we'll do is set up some furnaces on this side, right? Then we can have our alloy smelters here and here. Perhaps this could be the sort of manual smeltage area of the smelting facility, and this could be the automated area over here, right, where the sag mills and the furnaces will just be working together to try and cook some stuff up. I reckon that could work pretty well, man. Let me get some cables and pipes down. Let's see if we can make this work. I know, fellow mad professors, it's starting to look like a complete jumbled mess in here. My brain is starting to feel as tangled as all of these wires down here. But guys, I'm almost there. I think I've got this all figured out. I know it looks a little bit chaotic, but trust me, man, there is order to the chaos over here. I'm trying to find a way to make these sag mills and these furnaces talk to each other. I thought I'd bring you back for this because it's going to be quite interesting. Essentially, what these sag mills are doing is they are sag milling down ore and producing dust out of that ore, right? We need to find a way now to send that dust into the furnaces automatically, okay? So here's what I'm thinking. This is going to be the input chest for our sag mills. All of the ores are going to go in here. Those ores are going to get turned into dust by the sag mills, and then those dusts are going to be coming out of this output pipe over here, right? Now, we don't want to connect this output pipe to the main pipe, which is this one that leads all the way back into the cyber labs, right? We don't want to connect to this one. We want to have a sort of individual running pipe over here that is going to push all of those dusts from the sag mills underneath this pipeline too. Had to disconnect those pipes with the Yeta wrench over here. And then this pipe is going to come to the input pipes of the furnaces over here, right? So let me just disconnect a couple more of these connections over here. Oops, that was a mistake. Let's disconnect that one if I can. There we go. And we just need to disconnect this one over there and this one over there. Okay, perfect. So now all of those dusts are going to be coming from the sag mills into the furnaces over there. Okay, so that's pretty cool. Now the problem is that there's other items that come out of the furnaces also. They don't just produce oops, I've turned the direction of this chest. They don't just produce powders, right? They also produce other stuff like cobblestone, which is a little bit annoying. So we need to figure out a way to get rid of that. So here's what I'm thinking, right? This cable over here is going to have some sort of a filter in between. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to stick a diamond chest over here, right? Let's just set this to insert. So all of those dusts and all of those sag mill items are going to be coming into this chest. Now, what we are going to do is insert a filter in this position over here, right? So check it out. I've made something called a basic item filter. We can make more advanced item filters, but for now, I'm just going to use this basic one. It's basically just paper and a hopper. So pretty easy to make. And check this out. This has opened up some slots for us here in this input section over here. And what we're going to do is we're going to take all of the dust. So everything that we want to go into those furnaces, let's pick that up. For now, I've smelted down copper, gold, osmium, lead, and iron. I don't think we have more slots than that in the filter anyway. So let's get these in here, right? Now, what this is telling this input section over here is that it is only allowed to send these types of dusts into this chest, right? So it is filtering out. Is that 5? Have I missed one? Is it... Which one have I missed? Iron, I think. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so when items are traveling down this item conduit, only these items are going to go through here into this chest, and then this chest is going to, let's change this to extract, always active. There we go. This chest is now going to spit those dusts all the way into those furnaces. The furnaces will smelt down the dust and then deliver the ingots directly into our storage facility via the main pipe network, right? I think that's how it works. I don't know, man. I'm going to have to test it out to make sure that it does. Repetitive stress syndrome is kicking in, cyberdogs. I've spent an insane amount of time configuring all of these machines to receive the items and configuring all of the modes of the little connections to the correct setting. And let me tell you something, man. My fingers are starting to feel a little bit sore. I realized something, though, guys. I think I showed you earlier on in this episode where I had my soldering system set up. And I've got a feeling that this is probably a better place to have a soldering system, right? This is after all a smelting zone, and soldering is certainly the same as smelting, or at least a part of the same family as smelting, I guess. So I thought what I could do is set up a little bit of an item grid over here, which will give us access to all of our items too, which will be very, very helpful. And what we can also do here is set up some solderers, right? So that's going to be pretty sweet. Now, in order to get this done, we have to use a different type of piping called a cable. And to make a cable is actually really, really simple. It's just quartz-enriched iron, glass, and redstone. But we're going to have to run this cable all the way back to the original main cable line over there to get access to our storage facility in this grid over here. So that should be pretty awesome. Plus, I've got to get some power connected into this particular grid controller over here, and then I need to fix the floor up and get this place up and running and doing some testing. So we're almost there, I guess. Now that's starting to feel a lot more organized, and it's looking freaking sweet. Oh my goodness. Absolutely amazing. It is coming together so great, guys. Check it out. I've got our little soldering facility set up, and I was wrong. I think I said I needed to get power to this thing, but actually all you need to do is connect the main cable into the item grid. And look at this. We've got access to our item storage now, which is amazing. And now we can solder stuff here too. Now check this out, man. This is why I love piping so much. Look how cool our piping is starting to look in our laboratory. Here we're going to follow this main item grid piping all the way underneath. Look how they follow each other all the way underneath this corridor, all the way back into here. And then there's like a mess of wires. This goes all the way into the other section of the laboratory. And I just love it. It is so freaking sweet. Oh man, it gets me super pumped up when I see that sort of thing. It looks so fantastic. Now guys, there is just one more thing that I need to do here. And that is, of course, some testing to figure out if I've configured all of these item ducts correctly. I think that I have. If I'm honest, I'm feeling good about this one. I feel like I've actually nailed it this time. Usually I mess it up somehow, but I think that this time it is looking pretty decent. Let's fill in all of this stuff like this, get it looking absolutely fantastic. There we go, baby, looking great. And what we can use chisel and bits to add some facades or something here, right, to hide all of this stuff. But before we hide these things, I need to make sure that everything is working absolutely perfectly, right? So let's do a little bit of testing. It's going to start all the way up here in this chest. We're going to drop off a bunch of iron ore. That iron ore should now be filtered into all of the various sag mills. It looks like it's going into this sag mill for some reason. That's very, very annoying. Also, the items don't seem to be getting pulled out of this sag mill, which is also annoying. Let's just pull the iron out of here and try to figure out what's going on here. I think that what the chest is going to do is probably fill up the nearest one. When this is filled, it will then fill up the next one, right? I think that's probably how it's going to work. Let's just make sure that this is set correctly. Yeah, that's extract, always active. I'm assuming it's this configuration that's wrong then. That's got to be push, I guess. Push out, yes. And I think I've set up the top one incorrectly also, right? This should be pull in, right? That should be pull, I suppose. Okay, let's try that out. Let's stick another iron ore in here. Let's see where that goes. Okay, that's going to go in there. Now, is this getting pulled out of this thing yet? It doesn't look like it. No. Okay, that got pulled. That got pulled. Excellent. I think that's probably gone into this chest over here, right? Let's have a look. That should be heading to the furnace. Okay, so yes, our little filter system worked. That's amazing. That is absolutely amazing. But the other items are not getting pulled. Oh, I see what I've done over here, guys. We need to make an item conduit connection from this pipe, from here into the main pipeline. There we go. Now those items should have been pulled. Yes, they have been pulled, and they're going to be sent into our storage system and not into the furnaces. Okay, so if we crank a bunch of iron ore into this thing, I have an insane amount of iron ore in the storage facility. Let's find it. There it is. Let's just pick up like all of this iron ore, all of this copper ore. Let's just get out of my inventory all of this junk. Jeez, man. Let's just look for ore. Oh, I'm super excited now, man. Can you hear the sound of the jazz behind us going crazy? This is absolutely epic. All right, let's pick up lead ore, all of this ore that we can, copper ore, we can, osmium ore, we can also harvest down. Let's get this out of the way. All right, let's put a whole bunch of ores into this input chest. There we go. Also, let's test out the furnace over here. Let's stick in the these in here like that. Okay, that's working beautifully. This one is not accepting anything though. Okay, yeah, so this furnace is broken because it doesn't have an input. Well, that I'm going to have to move the input chest for that, I think. But there we go. All of the beautiful sag mills are cooking away something fierce. That is epic. This one isn't working though, unfortunately. Let's change this to pull, right? Yep, and the bottom side of it to push. Oops, no, that's got to be none. This has got to be push. There we go. Okay, we got that one fired up also. That is epic. Look at this, dudes. Oh, this is magical. Let's just fill this up again. All of the furnaces are running. They are cooking down all of that iron ore and that copper ore coming in. And our system is working amazingly. There's one thing that I want to check though, guys. With all of those machines running, how much power are we churning through? Let's head back into our power facility area and see what is going on over here. Let's click on our power grid to find out what's going on. Okay. So we are using 250 RF and we're only generating 128 RF. So currently our laboratory does not achieve RF equilibrium, which is unfortunate, but we have a brand new smelting / soldering facility that's completely connected up to our sorting system, our item system, and it is working a treat. Oh, this is so freaking epic, man. Oh man, I'm so happy about this, guys. I'm going to spend the next hour or so making this place look beautiful and also dealing with this water dripping from the roof, because that can't be good. There's electricity around here, right? That is some dangerous jazz, man. Anyway, guys, I hope you did enjoy this episode. If you did, you know what to do, man. You hit that like button, you hear me? This place is looking jazz-tastic. I had loads of fun today, guys. Anyway, this has been ReNDoG playing modded Minecraft in the Cyber Labs. Can't wait to see you all, as usual, in the next episode. Get grinded, all of you ores.